Chris Pritchard here, talking about Toastmasters International. So let me start off by saying that I happen to love Toastmasters International. Been a member for 13 years. I've done just about everything that can be done in it, and I'm still doing it. So don't think that I do not love Toastmasters International. So let's start with Pathways, of course. That seems to be the trouble. People think that Pathways is going to bring down Toastmasters. And I'm not saying it will or will not, but there are problems with Pathways. Of course, we know that being nice, we will say that the delivery system is clunky. But that's not the only problem with Pathways. I get calls all the time with people who can't figure out something, people with real computer skills. Now, when Pathways came about, there were problems with it. And instead of acknowledging or accepting the problems, they said that we were the problem, the people who somehow did not understand computers. Hey, we understood computers. I had a Tandy. I had a Commodore 64. I had computers long before a lot of these people were born. So we understand computers. It's not that we don't like change or not like computers. It's some of these problems are real problems with the delivery system. But that's not the problem with Pathways. Let's look at the content. And I'm not going to say, let's go back to the manual. But the problem is that there's not much pure speaking. And by that, level 1 is pure speaking. You get 5 speeches, and it's any topic you want, and that is great. But what if that is not enough for you? What if 5 speeches is not enough for you to get confidence and experience? And believe me, for me, it wasn't. And for some people, they need more stage time, more speaking experience. And that brings us to level 2. Level 2 are topics, are topic oriented. And people have trouble figuring out exactly how they're going to do level 2. We had 3 people give the exact same speech in level 2, and it was 3 book reports. And now the real problem comes into play. I've given 8 speeches, and it's not enough, and I still want to speak. Not enough experience. And I get projects in the upper levels that are what are called leadership type projects or skill building projects. Now, granted, I have enjoyed some of these projects. I've enrolled in 7 paths. I've completed 3 paths. So I understand Pathways. But some of the projects can stall a member out. For instance, on one of my paths, I have to do a networking, go to a networking event. And I don't have time to go to a networking event right now, and I haven't had time for the last 6 months. So I'm probably going to go to a networking event in a month or 2 or 3, and that will be my project. But right now I'm stalled for speaking if I didn't have other paths open. There are other projects that I've done that I've had to put on the back burner because I did not have the time or the inclination to do that project when it showed up. The point is that there's too much leadership in the upper levels that stalls people out and not enough speaking. Speaking in the purest sense of the word. And let's talk about our next problem with Pathways. That is what is called level 1 and level 2. So Joe X comes to the club and starts to speak and completes level 1. Congratulations, Joe, level 1. And now Joe has level 2. And he can't go and tell anyone about this. So, you been in Toastmasters? Yes. How was it? Good. I got to level 2. In the old days, I completed my competent communicator manual, and I got an actual designation that appeared to be something. Yes, I achieved competent communicator. So what the first thing Toastmasters should do is break out level 1 and level 2. Break them out from the general Pathways. So you go and you do level 1 and level 2, and you get name something, and then you complete the upper levels, the upper 3 levels, and then you get name something else. So what those would be, I haven't thought about it or don't want to interject, but the point is that you could take the Pathways platform and break it up into 2 parts, which would be much easier for people to work with. I believe that would be great for the new members. It wouldn't make a difference to me, but it would make a difference to some of the newer members. So I have spent more time, I have wasted more time on the phone explaining the same exact thing over and over and over to so many people I can't count. I was a Pathways ambassador, and people call me whenever they have a problem with Pathways, and I would explain to them the little quirks that had to be fixed. And the problem with Pathways right now is that whenever they change something, they don't tell anybody. It's secret. I got a call the other day and said, I can't find where this is. And I said, well, you go to the website and hit this and then scroll up and you'll see it. Oh, okay, there it is. So they change it without telling people. These aren't people who hate computers. These aren't people who are too old. These aren't people who don't like change. These are people who can't figure out the goofy system. And my final thought on Pathways is the project Reflect on Your Path. It comes up as a surprise. You do level 5 and all of a sudden, there it is. Now, when someone completes level 5, as far as I'm concerned, I go to Club Central and award them level 5 of their path. And if they don't want to do that project, it doesn't matter because there's nothing to award after level 5. I say, you have to do that speech, so technically it will be complete. But why is it that that speech is outside of the level 5? And why does it pop up from nowhere? More people have repeated this story, the same story that happened to me. I walked into my club and I said, this is my final project. I'm going to complete my first path. And here's my speech. And they read the introduction that I've written. And I get up and I gave my speech. And then I went home to do the final bit and complete my thing. And a new project came up. Now, how embarrassing is it to stand up and say this is your project is complete and then have to do another project? And I'm not the only person that's happened to. So now I know how it works now, but that's not the way the system should work. If you were looking out for the members, people at World Headquarters would do Pathways every day to figure out exactly what problems occurred and how they could be fixed. So Pathways got problems. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to face it. And it can be fixed. So enough about Pathways. Next, I'm going to talk about the DCP program.